coming up.
So congratulations to us, the leaders, teachers, innovators, and decision makers of tomorrow.
Bridgewater State students earn their degrees, helping them start their career paths.
Making Bridgewater beautiful.
Residents come out for a major pickup with major results, and BR students see the true effects of driving under the influence.
Never do I want to go to another scene where I have to tell a parent or pull someone out of a car that's in that condition.
These stories and more coming up on the Bridgewater Review. Thank you for watching our May 25th edition of the Bridgewater Review. I'm John Luck.
And I'm Scott Olson. We're beginning with a tragic crash in East Bridgewater. 5 students from Stoughton High School were traveling in one car when it crashed into a tree on May 19th. All 4 passengers were killed, and as of this recording, the driver is being treated at Boston Medical Center. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. Officials are looking into both speed and the weather.
Bridgewater Rainham Superintendent Derek Swenson posted a statement on Facebook that reads in part, "Our thoughts and prayers are with the families of the victims and the entire community of Stoughton. We strongly encourage parents of BR-RHS student drivers to please discuss this situation with their children and ask that they heed the advice of District Attorney Cruz and please drive safely."
Most of us are aware of the tragedy that happened in East Bridgewater with the kids from Stoughton. My wife and I drove by that scene shortly after, not knowing the extent of what had happened. Finding out after the fact was just gut-wrenching. So I know that the district has sent out, the town has sent out, a lot of people have sent out communications, but I don't think we can spend enough time talking to our kids about safety, about keeping things in perspective and trying to avoid tragedies like that. That is a scene that is not going to come out of my mind probably for the rest of my life.
A civil suit against Bridgewater State University and its former child daycare director, Judith Ritico, now includes 8 families. Attorney Carmen DeRusso told the Enterprise newspaper that they'll be looking at the role Ritico and the Commonwealth played in the ongoing sexual abuse. In 2015, BSU student Kyle Loughlin was arrested and charged with inappropriately touching 3 preschool-aged children at the university's Children's Center. Loughlin pled guilty in 2017, guilty to 2 counts of rape and abuse of a child, 3 counts of indecent assault and battery on a child under 14, and 1 count of larceny. He was sentenced to 7.5 years in prison. Ritico will appear for her next court date, June 6th at Suffolk Superior Court.
A Bridgewater Corrections officer received a Medal of Valor after saving an inmate's life. Ryan Flynn was one of 7 people honored at the State House as a Correctional Officer of the Year. According to a statement from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, Flynn risked his life and sustained personal injury while saving the life of a distraught inmate who was in the process of committing suicide. The Medal of Valor is given to correctional employees who demonstrate actions above and beyond the call of duty, disregarding the potential for dangers to him or herself. Also, the incumbent town councilors won their respective elections with no challengers. Before the meeting on May 8th, Aisha Loesch, Tim Fitzgibbons, Fred Chase, and Dennis Gallagher were all sworn in for their new terms. With another annual election complete, the council voted a new president and vice president into their new roles. Ted Haley is the new council president, while Dennis Gallagher will serve as the vice president.
Be able to have a different voice in the center and be able to, have a different face of the council, and I'm sure you'll do a fine job, so I look forward to a productive year.
I hope to do a decent job. I don't know, Tim ran a very efficient meeting. It was very good. Went through some trying meetings and hearings, and I'm sure I have a few ahead of me, but I'll do my best. Glad I have somebody solid to my right. Dennis, congratulations.
The town is in crunch time for the budget season, and one of the biggest focal points throughout this process is the town's contribution to the BR FY19 budget. The district is set to receive a 3.68% increase from Bridgewater. However, that falls a little more than 2% short of level funding for the district. Although there is an increase at their May 22nd meeting, the council heard some pushback from the residents.
Over the last couple of weeks, many of us have been up here speaking to the lack of funding and basically begging to level fund. As much as I appreciate the 3.68% increase, which sounds like a lot of money because it's $1 million, which is a lot of money to me, It is 2.06% short of what we need to level fund our schools. What that means to me is that we may not be taking into account the growth that we have encouraged in our town and balancing it with the impact to our children and our communities. I apologize if I seem too emotional, but this is a very dear subject to my heart. I implore you, the leaders of our town, to disrupt the norm. Please, think outside the box and find creative solutions for our children and for our town. If we don't level fund our schools and find that extra 2%, we are stating that our educational priorities are not our priorities.
The council ultimately approved the budget, but not before some last-minute efforts, including looking at one-time costs and prison mitigation to help close the funding gap. Tabling the budget was a thought that night. However, that would have not just been going against the legal advice from the town attorney, but it could have put the town in potential legal trouble as well.
The vote against could have other legal repercussions relative to legal obligations that we have if you vote against it and we don't have the appropriation to fund all of our specific legal obligations.
If we vote to table, it'll become the budget 3 days
Right.
without us acting on it. If we vote to not approve, then I understand what you're saying, but we could also bring this up at the next council meeting in 2 weeks to approve it and go forward, or is it just, is it a
Well, it
poison?
wouldn't be pending any longer.
Right.
And now a new budget would have to be submitted
Okay.
within the same time frame, and we'd have to follow the same requirements of the charter. And I don't see how that's going to be approved by the start of the new fiscal year. It's going to cause a lot of problems. It would be a big issue. It would be against my legal advice.
Mr. Fitzgibbon said one option, although not the top option, would be to gift the money to the district.
If the town were to choose to gift money, and I know neither side likes to do it that way, but if the town were to choose to gift money to the school district, I'm sure that whatever amount this town decided to gift, that Rainham could match to their percentage. I'm pretty sure of that. So if that's the way that we want to continue the discussion, we could do it that way, but there's no impediment to gifting money at any time.
Gifts do not need to be matched by Rainham. If Bridgewater gives a gift, Rainham does not need to match that. Their assessment does not change. So your vote to gift us money would be just that, a gift from Bridgewater. Just as Rainham has voted to gift us in the past, Bridgewater has not.
The district not getting level funding did disappoint a mother of 3 BR school district students, but she and the council has hope for next fiscal year, but only if the planning starts much sooner.
Do not stop here. Let's not sit complacently with this news and do nothing for our children. Please ask yourselves and our finance team how we can cut costs that the schools cover. I feel as though it is your duty as our council team and obviously our finance team to make this Plan B for fiscal 19 palatable and to figure out, like Mr. Fitzgibbon said, gifting. But if I may ask, with all due respect, let's not be blindsided by the limitations of that gift as we were blindsided tonight by the limitations of having to vote for tonight's budget after pushing the vote 2 weeks prior.
We're going to have to better align both our budget process and the district's budget process in regards to timing, and make the joint meeting a lot more than ceremonial. That's not to say that we're going to come to an agreement on what the district proposes to what we can afford, but this was very painful. And I'm not putting the blame on an individual. I'm putting the blame on the process, and we have to look at that a lot deeper because the timing does not work, I think, for either one of us.
You can watch this meeting anywhere, anytime online at btvaccess.com.
An election here in town for a library trustee came down to some questionable handwriting. Jeff Rind and Peggy Chacon were neck and neck, and it came down to Precinct 5. Both candidates didn't return their papers in time, so they had to run a write-in campaign, which is where the issues began.
The warden for Precinct 5 had to write in the candidate's name with their totals. With the last name written, it looked like Galeno Jeff had won the seat. A resident who lived in the precinct called the town clerk's office and asked why Jeff Rind had 0 votes. It almost looks like Scott's handwriting. But nevertheless, the problem was fixed, and none of the other races ran into this unique issue.
There is a reason we call this day commencement. By definition, it is a moment of beginning, not one of conclusion.
A wet day at Bridgewater State University did little to dampen the spirits of the 2018 commencement. Over 2,000 graduates earned their degrees and celebrated the life lessons they learned along the way.
As you consider the next part of your story, our hope is that you will continue to do good and to be good. We will be following your story as you apply all that you have experienced here to make our world a better place, one person at a time.
As we all stretch across the world to leave our mark, I have just one request, that we not forget where we came from, the place that held us up and got us where we needed to be, the place that inspired us to make our impact, the place that drove us to do better, and the place that brought us so much love.
The university invited 2 commencement speakers to talk to the graduates about what the future holds. Bill Richard, the father of Martin Richard, who was the youngest victim of the Boston Marathon bombing 5 years ago, was at the morning ceremony and spoke to the audience about choices they will have to make.
Think about it. When you come to cross the stage to receive your degree, will you appreciate the sense of completion or envisioning all that comes next? Will you embrace that newly minted credential as your mastery of a subject area, or think of all that you still don't know?
Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito spoke to the crowd for the afternoon commencement. Both Polito and the Richards took a selfie with Bridgewater State President Fred Clark, and both received an honorary doctorate. During the afternoon, Connor McLernan delivered the student commencement address, focusing on the fact that although the graduating class consists of millennials, they are a generation that is prepared for what the future has in store for them.
People are critical of millennials, yes, it's true, but we are a generation that has 3 things that set us apart. First, we know how to ask for help when we need it, and God knows we need it a lot. Second, we are a generation that has access to more information and technology than all of the generations that preceded us, and we know how to use it. Third, and most importantly, we are a generation that's willing to stand against wrongdoing, even if we aren't directly impacted by it. When it comes to the suffering that is endured by others around us, this generation is willing to do the hard thing by taking a stand, by starting conversations, and by listening. We are not the generation that will change the world. We are the generation that is changing the world now.
And we had interns right here at BTV that graduated recently. Christian Becerra and Mary Evers graduated from Bridgewater State University, and Olivia O'Connell and Tyler Crispin graduated from LaSalle College. Congrats to all of our interns and everybody that celebrated their graduation from college. 2 Bridgewater residents were honored for their heroism at the Celtics 76ers playoff game. You may remember the story from January during a snowstorm when an elderly couple got their car stuck on a snowpack on the train tracks at Broad Street. As the gates were coming down, signaling an oncoming train, Ray Armstead and Ryan Saba ran to the couple in the car and got them out just before the train destroyed their car. Ray and Ryan were recognized as Heroes Among Us at the TD Garden, which is presented at every Celtics game to the heroic achievements of outstanding citizens. They must have been good luck for the Seeds as they won the game and the conference semifinal series that night.
They might have to come back for the NBA Finals when the Celtics go back there, but we'll
I think it jinxed it, John.
Oh well. Over 100 people spent a Saturday afternoon doing a little spring cleaning across town. Organizers are hoping this becomes an annual tradition.
I think it is the first time we've had this big a cleanup day. We're really, really excited about it and so grateful for the weather gods to provide it.
On a warm Saturday afternoon on May 5th with clear skies above, over 100 people came out to pick up the town they live in as part of a community effort that was started 5 years ago thanks to a local family.
I think we also have to acknowledge the Joseph family.
Yep.
Joseph family started this about 5 years ago. They did it for 4 years. They moved to East Bridgewater. Last year came back and did it again. So it's important to recognize them as starting this.
Definitely.
We're hoping that this starts something, a yearly event.
We're only 3 of the team that took over for the Joseph family on the spur of the moment this year. So Dennis Gallagher, who's out picking up, and Pat Driscoll, who's out picking up the bags that he and Keith filled.
Pat Driscoll and Keith Buell, along with the other residents, took an assignment down from a list of areas around town and took off for Hale Street picking up bags, cups, cans, and much more.
As a member of a community, you just have to be able to look yourself in the mirror. That's why I do it. That's why a lot of people came up and I said, "Are you with a group?" They're like, "No, I just, came in and I want to do my street."
Two of those people were Jeff Biot and his 8-year-old daughter Chloe, who understood the true purpose of the day.
To pick up trash for the community.
We want the town to look nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You picked up a lot of trash today, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, we hope people see this, and I hope that they understand that, we only have so much on this planet. We want to make it pretty.
Union Waste Services played an important role in the day with supplies and a place to actually put the trash.
And for us too as a business, we work in the town, it's our livelihood, but we also live in the town. I lived in Bridgewater, my grandmother still does, she's here today helping out.
Union has just been unbelievably supportive on a lot of ends when it comes to our town. They provided all the bags, the gloves, the trucks. They've just been a friend of the community for a long, long time, and we really appreciate their help.
As you can see there, great day weather-wise, and if you missed the event but want to take part in next year's cleanup, you can email the town clerk or follow the group or other Bridgewater groups on Facebook, or you can leave your phone number at the town clerk's office.
The Bridgewater Lions Club held their annual fishing derby at Skeeter Mill Pond on May 5th. This springtime tradition features kids from 2 to 16 years old fishing at the home of former longtime state representative Dave Flynn. In 2013 on Bridgewater This Week, Mr. Flynn talked about the tradition of the fishing derby.
There's not a year that's gone by, there's one good one right there, that people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s haven't stopped and said, "Dave or Mr. Flynn, I can remember fishing these derbies. Now they're here with their grandkids, and it's really something to see and behold. Not a year's gone by that they don't mention they were here."
90 kids were registered for the derby, and about $4,000 was raised for charity.
With prom season in full swing, the BR School District is looking to curb the potential risk for OUI. We'll tell you about the unique lessons students experienced.
Plus, TJ Squared returns home from a trip to the World Championships. We'll tell you how they did and the special recognition they received.
And we go to break with a performance from this year's BR production of Footloose. We'll be right back.
This is where he went into convulsions. This is the emergency room where he nearly died. This is where he smoked it again, right after he got out. This is where he hung himself because he said he couldn't quit. And this is what I said when he told me he was gonna try meth.
Why do you think your mommy or daddy are always telling you, don't put that in your mouth? Let's find out.
Hi, kids. Why are we on television anyway? We're here to tell a little story about why you shouldn't put things into your mouth when you don't know what they are. But you can help me sing a song about eating things that don't belong inside you. Okay, don't you put it in your mouth. Don't you stuff it in your face. Don't stuff it in your face. Remember, boys and girls, don't put it in your mouth.
Always ask someone you love before you put anything in your mouth.
The TJ Squared Robotics team returned from Detroit in the first World Robotics Championship after competing with teams from here in the United States and around the world. The team was the 23rd seed in a 66-team division and lost in the semifinal round. The town council recognized the accomplishments of the team with a proclamation and a special poem.
The town council presents this proclamation to recognize TJ Squared Day. Whereas the Bridgewater Raynham High School robotics team had an outstanding year, and whereas the team has been led for over 20 years by an exceptional teacher, Mrs. Califf. And whereas the team, TJ Squared, qualified for the FRC Robotics World Championships based on the performance of the team and the skills of their robot named Triple Stack. So therefore, we declare the 88th day of the year to be TJ Squared Day, and celebrate this in the form of a poem. Team 88, known as TJ Squared, builds robots with wires and motors and a little aware. For the first 15 seconds, the bot is on its own as it navigates obstacles and delivers a game piece to the scale or a zone. In FIRST Robotics, Cooperation is the name of the game, whereas alliances on the fields are red and they are blue. It is here the students learn STEM and a little art too. TJ Squared won district events in Worcester and at home, led by teachers, coaches, and mentors, and even a Jerome. Blue banners fill the halls and tie-dye shirts fill the stands, but at least we forget the best prize of all, the FRC Spirit Award given for cheering. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah! In other news from the regional, high school student Catherine Shea won a state prize for her entry in the Young American Patriot Art Contest. She was recently honored in a ceremony at Battleship Cove and will advance to the national stage.
Another month has come to an end, so the Bridgewater Middle School has announced their Students of the Month. In grade 7, Susanna Haley and Marcus Almeida won the award, while in grade 8, Abby O'Leary and Michael Rubo took home the honors. If you'd like us to promote a student or event at your school, you can email 849@btvaccess.com or jluck@btvaccess.com.
The worst call is the knock on the door. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Scow. We regret to inform you your son is not coming home tonight.
It's prom season, a rite of passage for many high school students.
But with it comes a heightened risk of drunk driving, also known as an OUI. In an article released last year, more than 85% of teens say they or their peers are likely to drive impaired instead of calling their parents because they are afraid of getting in trouble.
The BR School District is looking to raise awareness regarding the ramifications of driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs with a video that featured BR students demonstrating such circumstances. Brian Berard has more.
Bridgewater Rainham students got a unique look into the dangers of driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol. The junior and senior class had an assembly where students watched a video of a party with some familiar faces. The video, which featured several members of the senior class, ended in a mock-fatal car accident, and at the end of the video, the junior class was brought outside to see the jaws of life being used while the senior class watched a simulcast in the auditorium.
I think it was a pretty good idea, warning everybody about what could happen, the dangers of if you drink and drive. I thought it was a good idea.
It was very important. It made me think twice about my decisions.
Yeah, it'll be in the back of my mind when I'm not
more educated.
At the conclusion of the demonstration, both classes met in the auditorium for a debriefing session and a powerful message made by Bridgewater Fire Chief Thomas Levy.
Not only have I had almost 40 years of public safety experience, a police officer and a firefighter, I've witnessed that multiple times. If you don't pay attention, be responsible for your actions, I guarantee you will know someone by the time you're 20 years old that they've either overdosed, they've gotten in a car accident due to texting, not paying attention, or drinking, or drugs. Mark my words. 39 years of experience tells me that's going to happen. So you better stop thinking, like some of the things I heard out there, thinking it was funny that the girl was doing a sobriety test by the police officers. Never do I want to go to another scene where I have to tell a parent or pull someone out of a car that's in that condition. I get paid to do my job. I don't get paid to live with the memories I have in my head. Think about it as a parent, individual, and a BR graduate.
This was a very useful assembly, and it taught me the dangers of drinking and driving.
Now, when you watched this video and you saw the presentation outside, does it kind of make you think twice about going out and how you're going to behave and control yourself when you go out to a party or so?
Yes, I want to make sure I stay safe during this prom season.
Car accidents are the leading cause of death amongst teenagers in the United States, and the students at BR got a startling reminder of just that. For Bridgewater Review, I'm Brian Berard.
The longtime director of the Bridgewater State University Alumni Chamber Choir ended her directing career after the group's performance at Central Square Congregational Church. Dr. Carol Nicolaris, who has been the director for 18 years, received gifts from her choir, including a chair, a collection of performances from the past, and a lifetime pass to future concerts, a memory book with messages from current and former members of the group, along with a stuffed moose.
But it's Dr. Nicolaris' professional dedication which has taken this choir to another level. Thanks to Carol, we are a diverse group choir. We not only sing together, but we also care about each other. a quality that shows in performances over the years. Dr. Nicolaris has been with us to celebrate our personal triumphs as well as to support us in difficult times.
But I just want to say, and I know you said this is your last song, but sometimes when a song plays, it reverberates, it echoes. Even when the music is over, in a room like this, the notes echo off these walls. They reverberate not only in this place, but they reverberate in your mind and in your hearts. And all of what you've done to conduct, to compose, to organize, to create beautiful music will forever reverberate in our hearts and minds, in the hearts and minds of our students, and that is your true legacy. Congratulations, Dr. Carol Nicolaris.
I would like to thank everybody. Thank you all for making these many years so enjoyable. Thank you for sharing in this day and for making memories. Oh my goodness, committee, you're crazy. For making, thank you for making memories that will remain with me, and I'm sure with everyone here forever. Thank you very much.
We'll have more from the concert coming up later in the program.
Bridgewater's Just Desserts Bakery and Cafe has been named Small Business of the Year. The honor comes from the Metro South's Chamber of Commerce. The ceremony took place at the Massasoit Conference Center in Brockton.
Turning to your health, it's something that we see everywhere we look at restaurants or on boxes or cans. Counting calories is a basic way to watch our food intake, but it may be doing damage to some people. Mary Evers has more.
Going into restaurants, you probably feel like you've seen calorie counts more and more. The USDA recently began requiring restaurant chains to list calorie and other nutrition labeling on menu items. Susan Albers, who is a psychologist at the Cleveland Clinic, says that in order to keep from getting overwhelmed by all the calorie counting, it's best to keep information in perspective.
This is a tool. Its intention is to help to educate, to give people more information, but not to use it as a judgment. And the hope is that it increases your awareness and you reach out for more education about nutrition.
The calorie posting rule is aimed at getting Americans to make more healthier choices when eating out. However, a recent study shows that only about half of the people in restaurants even notice calorie information when it's listed in menus. And when they do, it doesn't always influence decision making. Dr. Albers says that people are often surprised by how many calories are in restaurant food items. She says that many times people will only have their decisions swayed by the items that are very high in calories by either looking for a lower calorie item or opting for a smaller portion. And while posting nutritional information increases awareness, Dr. Albers says it doesn't always mean that people will know what to do with this information. She says that hopefully it will get folks to be more mindful about their choices, but that only time will tell that kind of lasting impact it might have.
What is likely to happen is that it's going to open up conversation. So we are going to have a lot more awareness and discussions about foods that we're being served, how we make decisions, why we make those decisions, and how to eat them in a more mindful way.
Dr. Albers says research shows that people who struggle with eating disorders are often negatively impacted by calorie listings. If you become overwhelmed or triggered by calorie information, she recommends meeting with a health professional who can help you develop a strategy to deal with these new calorie labels. There's good news for people who suffer from migraine headaches. The FDA has approved a first-of-its-kind drug designed to prevent migraines. Dr. Zubair Amen is a headache expert at the Cleveland Clinic, and he says that medicine is the first medication developed for the sole purpose of preventing migraine headaches.
It's significant because we've never had any preventatives specifically designed for patients who have migraine. We've always used medicines for seizures or for blood pressure or antidepressants to help treat migraine, at least as preventatives go.
The drug is called a CGRP blocker and will be available as a once-monthly self-injection. It essentially tells the brain to turn off a migraine by blocking a molecule that causes headaches. Recent research shows that people with hard-to-treat migraines who took the new drug reported fewer headaches, used fewer headache rescue medications, and were able to function better. Dr. Ahmed says that the drug will give migraine sufferers another option.
There's hope on the horizon. We're very optimistic, but we're also cautiously optimistic. We know there isn't one treatment that is a cure for migraine because it's a chronic condition, but this may be one step closer in that direction.
Dr. Ahmed says more studies are needed to assess the long-term side effects from the drug. The reported side effects of the short-term use include injection, site irritation, and constipation. For Health This Week, I'm Mary Evers.
Facebook is revealing another new initiative to increase transparency on the platform. The social network now requires anyone who wants to run ads related to political campaigns, civil rights, immigration, guns, economy, and other issues they have to prove they're in the United States. Part of the proof requires a social security number. Users also need to provide a government-issued ID and a U.S. mailing address. Once Facebook verifies the information submitted, the company will mail a code to the provided address to authorize the user's Facebook account to buy ads. The company said it will delete the information after verification.
During the spring and summertime, there's a term that could mean some relief on a scorcher of a day. That term, I look forward to this term, sea breeze. So what is it and how does it affect our weather? Jeff Fowler has more.
Now that summer is approaching, many of us will want to spend some time along the shore. And if you're headed to the coastline this weekend, you may want to bring an extra jacket to combat those sea breezes. Sea breezes can be a pain in the early spring, but a refreshing relief during the warmer days of July and August. However, this local phenomenon provides much more than just air conditioning. A sea breeze is exactly what it sounds like, a wind blowing from the ocean towards the nearby land. And it's caused by a combination of differences in air temperature and light winds over land. On those warmer, sunny days, the land heats up much faster than the water, and the warmer air rises and escapes into the atmosphere, creating low pressure at the surface and higher pressure above. Our air and our oxygen over the surface moves from low to high pressure. If this process continues without a reaction, we'd eventually lose all of our air and oxygen, making for a terrible beach day. Luckily, nature compensates and moves that ocean-cooled air back towards the land, replacing the air that escaped originally, and we get our oxygen back along with a little chill. As you might suspect, during the evening the opposite effect takes place. The air over land cools much faster than the air over the water, creating a land breeze. Occasionally on Cape Cod, you may have localized sea breezes coming from both the south and the east. And if the air temperatures are just hot enough, those winds can clash and create what we call sea breeze thunderstorms, a process that happens in the state of Florida almost daily during the summer months. I'm Jeff Fowler with this Weather Minute.
It's been a busy time for us here at the studio, and we have a lot of programming that you can see on channels 9, 22, and 98. Of course, you can watch any of our programming online, anywhere, any time at btvaccess.com.
The website really is useful and convenient. Now, we showed you the mock OUI that took place at the high school earlier in the show. The full presentation and discussion is on channels 9 and 98.
The music department takes center stage with the middle school concert and the BR Bandorama. Bands from across the district perform for the crowd in the BR Gymnasium. The night concludes with a group performance from all the bands across the district.
And coming up next, we'll tell you about an accolade at BR Trojan is celebrating and update you on the softball team as well. We told you earlier about the retirement of Dr. Carol Nicolaris. As we go to break, we show you one of the performances from the choir. The entire concert is available on demand at btvaccess.com.
Welcome back to Bridgewater Review. I'm Brian Berard with your sports update. Spring season is winding down and a couple of BR teams are getting ready for their postseason push. And let's start with the BR boys lacrosse team. They had a dominating 17-4 victory over Pembroke on senior night. The Trojans jumped out to a quick 2-0 lead in the first couple minutes of the game and never looked back and never relinquished their lead. It was only 8-3 at the half, but the Trojans had an amazing second half, outscoring Pembroke 9-1. The boys have 2 games remaining on the road at New Bedford and at Martha's Vineyard before the South Sectional Tournament begins. The girls lacrosse team was also in action as they faced off against Patriot League powerhouse Scituate. BR showed a lot of fight, but ultimately ended up losing 14-5. Even with the game well in hand for Scituate, the Lady Trojans never gave up and showed some fight, scoring 1 goal with less than 20 seconds left in the game. BR girls lacrosse will have its senior night on the 29th against Weymouth at 6:30 p.m. Moving on to the softball team, they had a lot of rainouts to make up this week, 4 in exact, and they made up all 4 games in as many days. They went 3-1 in those games, and on Wednesday afternoon, the Lady Trojans softball team honored 4 seniors on senior day and enjoyed a nice 3-0 win against Franklin. Trojans got on the board in the third after a bases-loaded single by senior Hannah Rideout, which was followed up by another RBI single from Summer Sheeran. And Sheeran wasn't done yet with her RBIs as she added another one in the 5th inning. Lady Trojan bats stayed hot against Durfee as they won easily 11-2. Hannah Rideout and Lexi Silva both had 2 homers each. BR still has a number of road games remaining before they begin their South Sectional tournament. The baseball team also got back in the win column with a 10-5 win against Middleborough. And one final note in sports, BR boys basketball star Doug Alves was named Brockton Enterprise Boys Basketball Player of the Year. That's all we have for sports. Scott and John, back to you.
Thanks, Brian. Turning to your news and notes now, there will be space artifacts on display on June 5th as part of a family-friendly presentation by the Aldrich Astronomical Society at the Bridgewater Public Library. The event, which starts at 6:30, will teach the audience about how to explore the solar system with a small telescope and binoculars. The event is free and open to the public.
Music Alley is set to open on June 7th. This annual Summertime Music Fest features local musicians playing next to Town Hall on the Common on Thursday nights from 5 to 8 p.m., with Mountain Weekend opening the season. For more information or for the schedule for Music Alley, which is free to residents, visit their Facebook page or visit their website at bridgewatermusicalley.com.
The Cole Yeaton Senior Center is hosting several big events in June. Evelyn DeLutis and Gloria Moran will host a workshop on creating simple dresses as part of the Dress a Girl Around the World program. This will take place on June 1st and 8th from 10:15 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. All materials are provided.
The Council on Aging will host their annual Senior Day on June 13th from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. There will be a luncheon and entertainment with Tommy Roll.
And on June 26th, Michelle Alex, the community outreach from the Registry of Motor Vehicles, will discuss what Real IDs are all about. She will also provide information on disability plates and placards. Those who plan to attend the lunch prior to the program can sign up by calling 508-697-0929. That's all the time we have for this edition of Bridgewater Review.
We don't have any Hollywood Lowdown?
No, I guess not.
What
guess
a
he's
shame.
slacking this week.
We hope you'll join us for our next episode of the program. I'm John Luck.
And I'm Scott Olson. Thanks for watching.